Welcome back. Welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on AM 1170, The Answer. Joined, as always, by Mr. Jason Hall with Team Home Loans and the Carson Chargers. Woo-hoo. Also, Joe Corbisiero, our North County luxury specialist. And before the break, we were talking with Mr. Eran Sania, the credit magician. That guy is absolutely amazing. If you need help with your credit repair, identity theft, anything like that, Eran is the man to talk to. Just shoot us a text, give us a call. We'll get you connected. 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355.
It's amazing the insights that he has. I mean, I try to have lunch with him at least once every couple of weeks, and it's mind-blowing. The information he gives you, the great tips, and it's been helping me a lot, I gotta tell you.
I love it. So I wanted to talk, I've came across an article online, and we've talked about some of this stuff before on the show, but the difference in renting versus owning. And Trulia did a study. Nationwide, they compared what is the overall cost to rent versus what is the overall cost to own. And they factored a lot of the things in that other people maybe don't factor in, like the tax benefits of owning a home, the appreciation and value that comes along with owning a home. So the number that they came up with was pretty astounding to me. And they came up with over 35% less expensive to buy than to rent.
Based on current stuff. And that's nationwide. I mean, that's absolutely insane on how that happens, right? That's a nationwide statistic. I would argue that it might be higher here in San Diego. We know that rents here, it's very common if you want to rent a home to be paying $2,500 and upward for a house. I mean,
that's about where rents start for a house now in San Diego.
And that's like the fixer-upper, like,
that's your cookie cutter, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in a decent neighborhood. $2,500. But you get into, we're here in University City right now recording the show. You're not renting under $3,000 a month in University City right now.
And I was just telling you this morning about the East Village studio, starting at $2,050 for a studio.
Right. Yeah. You actually have no walls, right? You just have the outside walls. You have no bedroom. In the studio.
I was reading about this report. It was back in June, but it's totally valid. Spring 2014 to spring 2015, there was an increase of 25%. When rents.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why Kyle's happy. That's why Kyle's always got a smile with all the rental properties.
Yeah, right.
That's why he's better. Here's the thing. No matter what, you're paying a mortgage. Whether you're renting or whether you're owning, you're paying a mortgage. It's just a matter of if you're paying your own mortgage or are you paying your landlord's mortgage. But one way or the other, you're paying somebody's mortgage.
Right. And Kyle and Joe are on the TV show that's going to be airing Saturday morning. Craig Sowing's our sponsor, and as you guys all know, Craig sets up our show every Wednesday. He starts the 6 o'clock hour, and then we jump in at the 7 o'clock hour. But Kyle and I will be on the American Dream TV show this Saturday morning, and we both had a couple things we went over. But here's what I've learned. Listen to this. If you got a mortgage today for $500,000, and we're just going to assume a current rate right now about 3.99, your payment is $2,384. On a $500,000 mortgage, all right? And that puts you in a lot better neighborhood than a $2,500 rent payment. I can promise you that. Now, here's what's going to happen. If you wait a year, and we're using 4 or 5% increase on appreciation. If you'd wait just a year to buy a house, you haven't worked with Eran to fix your credit, you haven't sat down with Jason, Joe, or Kyle to get you in a position to buy a home, and you wait another year, and the house goes up just 4%, guys. And I think it'll go up more, but let's just say it goes up 4%. That same house, you'll need a mortgage for $522,000. If rates go up just 1% to 4.99, only 1%, your payment goes to $2,800. That's a $415 increase by sitting on the sidelines. You're doing yourself a disservice if you wait. We've had many clients who had a BK 2 or 3 years ago, short sell, went through some tough times, get back into home ownership. We help a ton of first-time homeowners, Kyle and I and Joe. And the bottom line is, if you wait a year, you're going to lose $87,000 in purchase power by setting out a year. That $415 is $87,000 today, guys. You could actually buy a $587 home for the same price that if you wait a year and rates only go up 1%, and they might go up more, and appreciation only goes up 4%, you lost $87,000. So Kyle, as a real estate broker for over 12 plus years, I mean, this is probably 15 now for you, owning tons of property, what happens to those that wait?
They usually just keep waiting and paying off my mortgages for me. That's just what happens.
They just keep renting from people.
They just keep renting and renting and renting. And, eventually people are like, well, I've been renting for 20 years and I've paid off about $200,000 of somebody else's mortgage. Maybe I should look into buying right now. And then when they actually sit down with us and really understand everything that comes along with home ownership and all of the benefits, it just blows people's mind. Because one of the biggest things is, there's a big misconception, especially with millennials, myself barely making the borderline of being millennial.
You're the old millennial?
Joe, you missed it by a year, buddy. You're not a millennial. You're a Gen X or Gen Y. Gen Y. You missed millennial by a year, Joe. But there's a huge misconception out there, and we heard Steve Harney with Keeping Current Matters talk about this, is millennials have a misconception that it takes 20% down to buy a property.
Right.
There's a big misconception. That's couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, when I started buying property, the first few properties I bought were all no money down.
No money down.
There are no money down options out there. A couple of those options, Jason, would be, the VA loan, which is one of the specialties that you do over at Team Home Loans. In VA, you've got to be, a veteran, active duty, DOD, Department of Defense. So there's a no money down option for those people. There's also a no money down option for rural properties.
Right.
So you could be buying, it's called a USDA, United States Department of Agriculture.
Right.
You could be buying Ramona, Alpine, Valley Center, Fallbrook, some of those areas. Hamul. You could buy with no money down. And here's what's great. You buy with no money down. Let's say you buy a $500,000 property with no money down, and that value goes up.
Just say 4% a year.
4%.
Be conservative, yeah.
You put no money in, and you're gaining a $20,000 increase annually based on just a 4%. Conservative. The last few years have brought a lot more, but we're showing a conservative because you never know what the future is going to bring. But it's amazing that people still sit on the sidelines and watch rich get richer. I had a chance to play poker with my mind's who was the owner of the Lakers who passed on, his family there, Jerry Buss. Okay, I asked Jerry while we were sitting there playing poker, Jerry, any success you can give a young aggressive guy who's in the mortgage business, what can I do to create wealth? He said, Jason, buy real estate in Southern California, hold and buy more, hold and buy more, hold and buy more. And the only reason I'm sitting here, owner of the Lakers, is because I bought Southern California real estate, held and bought more. It's the game of monopoly. Jason, there's no better investment than Southern California. He only liked buying in Southern California because of many different reasons, but hold. Don't sit on the sidelines and watch others get rich. And so I've taken that to heart and trying to buy more.
I love it.
Right. Yes.
And it's big. We just had to file taxes this past week, right? If you filed extension in April,
wait.
October 15th is the deadline that, most of us have to actually file. So
Joe probably smiled. I don't know if Joe's even filed yet.
Joe, did you file? Did you file, Joe?
Yes, peeps. Hey.
Joe was calling us on October 15th. Hey, can you tell me what my commissions were last year?
Where was my 1099?
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I don't know if you know this, but there was a big shift here. I was early this morning, then I filed my taxes. So
wow,
I'm getting accustomed to America.
You get used to it.
Being on time early.
He has a right-hand person in Karen now helping run his team, taking advice from people like you and I, and of course, Eran.
Mm-hmm.
So she's keeping you on time, taking care of the things that distract you. That's awesome, man.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes to filing taxes, you talk about owning rental property, not only do you get somebody who's paying your mortgage for you, but you get this thing called depreciation, which is absolutely beautiful. And the way the depreciation works on a rental property is you take whatever the value of that home is, divided by 27.5, and you get to write that much off each year. So if you've got a $550,000 property, that's a $20,000 a year write-off for the next 27.5 years.
Right. It's great while you're making money to have that depreciation write-off, and then it'll recapture it later in the future, but that's when you're going to be making less income.
Not necessarily. There's plenty of ways to never actually have to pay and recapture that depreciation. So there is something called a 1031 exchange.
1031, yep.
So if you want to learn more about, buying property, whether you're trying to buy your first home, whether you're trying to buy a rental property and get some of these tax benefits and somebody else to pay your mortgage, give us a call, shoot us a text, 619-663-7355, 619-663-7355. We're going to head to a break here on Whissel Wednesdays. When we get back, we want to talk about where was San Diego County, some of our premier cities, where did they rank in the list of top luxury markets in the country? You're listening to Whissel Wednesdays on KCBQ 1170, The Answer.